Hi guys, this is O-Level Chemistry, paper 11, June 2016, question 21. Which process does not involve the use of a catalyst? The extraction of iron from hematite in a blast furnace? Yes, this is the reaction in which Fe2O3 is reduced in the presence of carbon monoxide, producing iron metal and forming carbon dioxide. There is no catalyst involved. The manufacture of sulfur trioxide. This involves a catalyst V2O5. The production of ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen involves a catalyst either iron or Fe2O3. And the redox reaction that remove combustion pollutants from car exhaust. This is the metal present in the catalytic converter, which is either platinum or rhodium or palladium or a combination of any of these metals. So the only process not involving a catalyst is the extraction of iron from hematite in a blast furnace, making option A the correct option for this question. Question 22. Gaseous compound X is an oxidizing agent. X is bubbled through separate solutions of aqueous potassium iodide and acidified potassium manganate, which itself is an oxidizing agent. Okay, aqueous potassium iodide. So, which row shows the color change when X is bubbled through these two solutions? So, in the aqueous potassium iodide solution, iodide ions will be oxidized to iodine, whereas potassium manganate 7 itself is an oxidizing agent. So, two oxidizing agents will not be reacting with each other. So, they've asked us the color changes. So, in aqueous potassium iodide, iodide ions would have no color, so colorless, and iodine aqueous is brown in color, so colorless to brown. This eliminates options A and B. And in the other tube, there would be no change because both the oxidizing agent will not react with each other. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option C. Question 23. Which metal oxide will be reduced by heating with iron? So it will be a metal oxide that is less reactive than iron. So calcium oxide, calcium is more reactive than iron, so it will not react. Lead oxide, lead is less reactive than iron, so it will react. Magnesium oxide, magnesium is more reactive than iron, so it will not react. And zinc oxide, zinc is more reactive than iron, so it will not react. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 24. Which pair of substances can be used to prepare a sample of lead 2 chloride when added to water and mixed? So we need something that is soluble and it will react with an acid to form a salt that is insoluble. Okay, so which pair of substance can be used? So we and it is also possible that instead of acid we could use a source of chloride which is also soluble. So two soluble substances reacting to produce an insoluble salt. That is our way to go in order to prepare lead 2 chloride. Okay, so option A is lead and sodium chloride. Lead and sodium chloride will not react with each other. Sodium chloride is neutral. Lead 2 nitrate is soluble and sodium chloride is also soluble. They will react to form lead chloride, which is insoluble. So this is how it is done. This or lead nitrate with HCl. Lead 2 carbonate, which is insoluble, and sodium chloride. So no reaction will take place in this case. And lead and hydrochloric acid, lead metal is very close in reactivity to hydrogen. So it will not react to produce lead chloride. Reactivity is very similar to hydrogen for lead. So, and again, lead is the metal here, and we need two soluble salts. So that is another reason this reaction will not occur. So the correct option for this question is option B. Question 25. The pH of an aqueous solution of hydrochloric acid is 2. What will the pH of the acid after addition of 10 grams of sodium chloride? Now, NaCl is a neutral salt. So, if we add a neutral substance to an acid or a base, there would be no reaction taking place. Therefore, the pH of the solution would remain the same. And since the pH mentioned here is 2, the correct answer for this question would be option B. Question 26. Which statement about the elements in the periodic table is correct? All the elements in the same group of the periodic table have the same reactivity? No. Reactivity increases down the group for metals and it decreases down the group for non-metals. Basically, the reactivity increases down the group for group 1 metals, and for halogens, the reactivity decreases down the group. So, this is incorrect. Next. All the elements with 4 electrons in their outer shell are metals. Carbon has 4 electrons in its outer shell, and carbon is a non-metal. Same thing with silicon. Lead and tin are metals with 4 electrons in their outer shell. So both metals and non-metals can have 4 electrons in their outer shell. An element in group 2 of the periodic table would form an ion with a 2 negative charge? No, they are metals. They would form ions with a 2 positive charge. Elements in the same period of the periodic table have the same number of shells of electrons? Yes. If the period number is the same, that means the number of shells present in the atoms of those elements would be the same. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option D. Question 27. Iron is extracted from hematite in the blast furnace. And this is the setup of the blast furnace. Which other raw material is added in this extraction? Okay, waste gases, raw materials, air, molten iron. Okay, they've not mentioned raw materials. So, bauxite. Bauxite is not part of the iron extraction process because bauxite is the mineral containing aluminum or is the aluminum ore. Cryolite. Cryolite is Na3Al F6. This is used to dissolve bauxite in order to decrease its melting point. Limestone. Limestone is used in the iron extraction process because limestone, which is CaCO3, reacts with the acidic impurities present, which is SiO2, and it forms CaSiO3 and releases carbon dioxide gas. So limestone is added in the extraction. And slag is what remains after iron has been extracted. It is the waste material remaining which floats on top of the pure iron liquid that is there, the molten iron. So the correct option for this question is option C. Question 28. The diagram shows a flow chart for the manufacture of fertilizer. Okay, so fractional distillation of air will produce gas W. This produces nitrogen gas. Cracking of hydrocarbon produces gas X, which would be hydrogen gas. When subjected to a pressure Y and 450 degrees Celsius, so this pressure would be 200 atmospheres. This would produce product Z, which is ammonia. And ammonia would react with something added over here to form fertilizer. This something could be HCl, HNO3, H2SO4, H3PO4 or CO2 because this would form ammonium chloride, this would form ammonium nitrate, this would form ammonium sulfate, this would form ammonium phosphate, and this would form urea, all of which are components of fertilizers. So, in the flow chart, what are W, X, Y, and Z? So W is nitrogen. So options A, B, and C have been eliminated. Option D should be correct, but let's verify the other alphabets. So W is nitrogen, X should be hydrogen, yes. Y should be 200 atmosphere, which is high pressure, yes. And Z should be ammonia, yes. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option D. Question 29. The table gives the melting points, densities, and electrical conductivities of four elements. Which element is copper? Now, copper is a transition element, so its melting point would be really high. The high melting point here is 1083. All the other are relatively low melting points. So, this should be the answer. But let's verify the other properties as well. Density of transition metal should be high as well. So, options A and D have high densities. A does not have a high melting point, so A has been eliminated already. And as far as electrical conductivity is concerned, metals have a good electrical conductivity, making option D the correct option for this question. Question 30. Which gases are all present at the positive electrode during the manufacture of aluminum? So the positive electrode is the anode, and anode has oxygen being produced. So oxygen gas would be there. Anode is made up of carbon. So the carbon at the high temperature used burns away in oxygen, producing, if it is complete combustion, carbon dioxide, and if it is incomplete combustion, it produces carbon monoxide. So the gases present are oxygen, carbon dioxide, and carbon monoxide. So in option A, we have carbon monoxide, we have carbon dioxide, but hydrogen makes this option incorrect. Next, we have got carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and steam. So both of these make this option incorrect. Next, we have oxygen, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, all of which are present. So this option is correct. And then we have sulfur dioxide, hydrogen, and oxygen. Only oxygen is correct, making this option incorrect. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option C.